Hey, what's up everybody? Toby here, and in today's Onshape step-by-step tutorial, we're going to take a look at this challenge. This is a Tier 2 level complexity challenge. So not the easiest challenge that we offer, but the second least level of complexity offered in the Toby practice models app. But even though this is kind of an easy design, we're still going to learn a lot of cool stuff as we go through this challenge. We're going to learn about symmetry and using the hole tool in Onshape and some cool sketching tools that we can use in Onshape. So let's get into it here. We're going to go over to the tootalltoby website, tootalltoby.com. We're going to log in with a free account, and then we're going to say, click here to get started with free practice models. And here we see in the practice models app, we've got a repository of over 120 2D to 3D CAD challenges for users working with any 3D CAD system. Now, there's about 20 free challenges in this library, and then if you're really enjoying the app, you can upgrade to the premium membership, and that will unlock the entire library. Well, one of these free challenges is this one here, 24-04-01. It's a Tier 2 challenge. So let's click here to practice, and once we click here to practice, we can see that there are, let's see here, 699 people who have completed this model. So let's see if we can become number 700. So we're going to go down here to the very bottom. We're going to say click here to begin, and we're going to say reveal drawing and go. What is the mass of this part in XXX grams? We're going to put that answer in down here. The tolerance is plus or minus 1 gram. And it looks like this part is using ABS with a material density of 1020 kilograms per cubic meter. So even though the clock is running, I think it's always a good idea to get started by coming up with a basic game plan and then going and starting to create your actual 3D geometry. So for this model here, and really for any model, the first thing you want to ask yourself is, where should the origin be located in this model, in the 3D model? And so one tool that we can use to help us decide on that is, are there any directions of symmetry? Are there any lines of symmetry? So here we see it says CLSYM. That means that we've got symmetry in this model. So the origin is going to be located right here, right at the intersection of those two lines of symmetry. And that's going to make it easy for us to do mirroring commands or maybe add this part into an assembly and locate it using those planes. Now, as far as the origin location here in the front view, if you don't know anything else about the model, you can usually just put it right here at the base of the model, right where the model would rest upon a table or maybe on another part in the assembly. So the origin is going to be located right here, right at the center of the model. Now, the next thing that comes into the game plan is, what should my first sketch look like? And I think this sketch is going to look something like this. It's going to be half of this polygon, and then maybe we'll create a center line here. We'll use the letter Q to create that center line in Onshape, and then mirror that geometry across for that first sketch. Now, for our next feature, after we take that first sketch and we extrude it out to 33, for our next feature, we're going to create these holes, and we're going to do something kind of fun here. We're going to use a rectangle to define the location of those holes, and then we'll use the Onshape hole tool. And then for our final feature, we'll once again use the Onshape hole tool, but this time to locate this hole, we will use a mate connector. So even though this is a Tier 2 level complexity model, there's still a lot of really cool tips and tricks and shortcuts for Onshape users. And if that all sounds good to you, hit the like button on this video, and let's get into today's challenge. So I'm going to take this drawing and move it over here onto my second screen. Let me close the current drawing here. We'll close this current document. And let's bring up our keyboard cam and the clock. We can see we're 2 minutes in, so we got to make up some time here. So let's do this. Create document, and I'm going to call this 24-04-01-depth gauge base. And I'm going to create this as a public document. So if you are ever interested in looking up this part, my actual part file here, or my actual part in Onshape, you can just go here and search the public repository in Onshape. Anybody with a free Onshape account can do that. So I'm going to say create public document, and boom, we are in 3D CAD. Let's go to the front plane, S key, begin a new sketch. So I press the letter S on my keyboard to bring up that menu, and then N to get normal to that front plane. Now I'm going to press S again, and I'm going to launch the line command, and I'm going to bring a line over here about 75 millimeters. I'll just use that kind of dynamic feedback to get me close. So 1/2 of 150. I'll come up here about 11 millimeters. I'll go up here at an angle and then come across to finish off that sketch. And then as I'm creating this final line here, I'm going to press Q on my keyboard. And you can see what Q does is it changes that line from being a solid line to being a construction line. Now, the reason that's helpful is because now I can press Escape and then I can put a window around everything, and then I can choose this icon here, mirror, and that just mirrors that whole sketch right over. So now I can just press S and go into the dimension command and create a dimension here for the max width, 150, enter, single click on this line, 11, enter, and then click on this point and click on this point, and we're gonna make that 50 millimeters. Now the final dimension is going to be our height dimension here. So from the top to the base there, and that distance is going to be 40 millimeters. And there we go. We've got a nice fully constrained sketch. That's what we always want in Onshape before we turn it into a feature. So now that we've got that first sketch in place, we can press the S key. I've customized my S key here in Onshape so that I've got the extrude command right there waiting for me. So I'm going to choose extrude, and then I'm going to press the tab key on my keyboard. I think this is a really nice shortcut. You can press the tab key a couple of times and get down to the depth, 33, and you press enter one time. And then you can press the tab key a couple of more times to get down to symmetric. And then you can press the space bar on your keyboard, and that activates that symmetry option. So you see that extrude changed from going in one direction to being a mid-plane extrusion. And now we can just press enter on our keyboard, and boom, we are done with that first feature. And so now for our second feature, what we're going to be doing is adding in these holes here that are punched through the model. Now you might say, why not just include those in the first sketch? And you could certainly do that, but a lot of times it's beneficial to kind of break up your features, especially if you need to go back later and make changes to your model. So don't ever feel like you have to put everything in one sketch. A lot of times it's better to keep your sketches simple and just to have more features in the tree, especially if you get in the habit of renaming. So I could call this kind of like the main shape, and that way I can tell right away that doesn't have the holes in it just by looking at the tree. So now I could pick on this face here, S key, begin a sketch, N key, that gets me normal. And now this is where we're going to do something kind of tricky. I'm going to press the S key again, and I'm going to create a center rectangle. Now again, I've customized my S key, so if you don't have center rectangle, you might consider adding that to your sketch shortcut toolbar. But I'm going to choose the center rectangle command. I'm going to move my mouse here so I'm directly above the origin. I'm going to single click. I'm going to move my mouse kind of up and to the left, and then I'm going to single click again. And now I'm going to let go of my mouse, and I'm going to type in the dimensions to locate those two holes. So the width between those, the center to center for those holes is 33, enter. And then the height from the base is 20, enter. And then what I can do is I can press escape to get out of the rectangle command, and I can just take this lower line, single left click, and this lower line down here, single left click, and press I to establish a coincident relationship between the bottom of that rectangle and the base. And that can be a huge time saver when you're locating things like holes. Because now what I can do is I can exit this sketch. So I hit the check mark here to exit that sketch, and then jump into the hole command in Onshape. And you can see you can choose either inch or metric for the standard for the hole. And then you can choose simple, counterbore, or countersink. Well, I'm going to choose simple. And then here you see it says sketch points to place the holes. Well, I can just pick on this point here and this point here from my rectangle, and we've got those holes perfectly located. And so now I can go down to the diameter of that simple hole. That diameter is going to be 6 millimeters, enter, that updates the preview. And then I can go down here for the termination and make sure that that's set to through all, so those holes go right through the entire model. So now that I've got that in place, I can hit the green check mark, and there we go. We got those holes running through. Onshape even took it upon itself to automatically hide that sketch. So you can see here that that sketch is hidden. So maybe I would click on that sketch and press Shift N, and then I would rename that to something like location of 6 millimeter holes. Or sometimes I don't name them based on the size. Sometimes I name them based on the location in case the size changes. So location of through holes, something like that. So now I know that that sketch is kind of like the dedicated sketch for those through holes. Now you see here I've got several things selected. So you want to remember you can press the space bar on your keyboard, and then that unselects everything. And so now for our final feature, we're going to use what's called a mate connector. And I'll include a link to the video that I made on the mate connector. I'll put it up over there, up in the upper left, or in the upper right, excuse me. But the mate connector video will really help explain what mate connectors do. But basically, if you pick a planar face, a rectangular face like this, you can use a mate connector to automatically select the midpoint of this edge, or pick this corner, or pick the midpoint of this edge, or pick the middle point of the entire face. And that's what I'm going to end up doing with the mate connector here. So I'm going to choose the command hole. I'm going to choose the whole type of metric or the standard of metric, the whole type of counter bore. And then here, instead of choosing a sketch point, I'm going to choose this button, select mate connectors. And then what you'll see is as I take my mouse out over these different faces, I can use the mate connector to select the very center of any one of these faces. Well, I'm going to be selecting the very center of this face here. So I can pick the midpoint of the edge or the end point of the edge or the midpoint of this edge or the center of the entire face. And so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to pick here. That selects the location for the hole to be based on the location of the mate connector, which is the center of that planar face that I selected. And then I'm going to go down here to my counter bore definition. So the through hole for the counter bore is going to be this first dimension here. I'm going to make that 12, and then I'll use the tab key again, and I'll just tab, get down here to the diameter of the counter bore. That diameter is going to be 22, and then I'm going to press tab again, and this is the depth of the counter bore, and that depth is going to be 6. And then I can press enter, and there we go. This model's looking pretty good. I can press the P key on my keyboard that hides the planes. I can roll this view around so that I can see the entire model just to kind of confirm that it looks like the drawing. Now, if you're working with customers, a lot of times the customers want to see the parts in the same colors that they originally gave you in the spec. So you could right mouse button down here on the name of the part and say edit appearance. And then you can choose to make this yellow color, or you could even go into the mixer. If you happen to know the RGB formula, you could do like a 255 tab 0. That's the formula for yellow. If you happen to know the hex key, the FFFF00, then you can just type that in as well. Or you could just choose it here from the mixer and kind of try to get it pretty close to what the customer gave you. Either way, there you go. You can change the appearance. You probably wouldn't do that in a speed run, but if we're just doing this for the customer, it's good to know how to do that. And then finally, to calculate the mass correctly, we have to have the correct material properties. So we right mouse button on the name of the part again. We go here to assign material, and then we can move this box up top here, and we can say we want to change this from the Onshape material library to the tootalltoby custom materials library. Then we can fly out this menu here, and we can choose ABS. And we hit the green check mark. And now down here, kind of behind the clock, we've got this icon, which is for mass properties. So we click on that icon in the lower right. We come up here, we click on this body, and we're coming up with a mass of 145 grams. So I'm going to come down here into this box for mass 145 and enter. And oh yeah, there we go. We see it says, congratulations, this answer is correct. We got it correct, 145 grams. So I'm going to say submit. And once I submit my answer, I unlock some additional analytics down at the lower part of the practice models page. So here we see that now 700, actually somebody else did it while we were doing it. So now 701 people have completed this model. And then if we scroll down here, we can see that the average time for this model is 4 minutes and 48 seconds. Wow, that's pretty fast. My time for the model was 11 minutes and 4 seconds. And then the fastest time was 1 minute and 5 seconds by Hasi. And if we scroll down a little further here, we can see that it looks like that user was using SolidWorks. But look at this, Rich Penn using Onshape finished it in 1 minute and 9 seconds. So it looks like it is possible to get it done that fast using Onshape. Here's 112 using SolidWorks. Here's 112 using Fusion. So really cool stuff here to be able to kind of see the different CAD systems that are finishing this and how quickly they're finishing it. And just remember, this app really is available for anybody using any CAD system. Maybe if you're trying to learn a new CAD system, you know, you might consider pulling up the Practice Models app and practicing through some of these models. But here at this point, you can see that I finished in 11 minutes and 4 seconds. My goal is always to try to get to close to or maybe even beat the average. So maybe what I'd want to do is practice my run a couple of times, and then I could come up here and I could choose try again and see if I could get a faster time. So let me know down in the comments if you learned anything cool about Onshape from this tutorial. Let me know if you have any questions. Of course, be sure to like this video, be sure to subscribe to the channel, and be sure to come back for some more Onshape tutorials.